welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Rikki.
And I'm Candice.
So welcome, another great week. You guys, we have so many amazing community members. And first of all, Erin is not here this week. She is busy just prepping for things this holiday season with work and home.
Always something this holiday season with one of us.
Yes. So we will miss her, but she will be back soon. So we just have had so many great conversations between, our Facebook group and emails you guys have sent in. So Candice, you've came across a really great one recently, right?
Yeah, just so you all know, if you ever want to email us, you can send an email to realwwtalk.com. Oh, well, it's not that. Yes, realwwtalk@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Or you can send us fan mail. I think it's so funny calling it fan mail. But on our podcast page, the Buzzsprout page, that's in the link is in our show notes. Just remember, if you do send it to us, we cannot respond back to you. We are not ignoring you. You can send it, but just make sure you put where you're from, what your name is, and if we can get around to it, we'd love to kind of shout you out. But we got an email from Rhonda. Rhonda sent us an email called Control or Discipline episode. This is something we talked about back, I think like September, October. And she said, oh my goodness, Candice was speaking directly to me today. I was committed to doing a 2-mile intentional walk every day in October. Well, last week I only walked 1 mile one day and have been so upset with myself. I have continued with the commitment and now I look at it completely differently. Thank you, ladies. I look forward to walking with you all each week. God bless. And that's Rhonda from Defiance, Ohio. I am so glad that you recognize that no matter if you did 1 mile, 2 miles, 1 step, you don't have to throw it away. I'm glad that came through. You and I are on the same page. So congratulations, Rhonda.
Yes, that's amazing.
Always good to hear that.
Yeah. And then we have a great message conversation that was started by Shar in the Facebook group. If you're not already a part of that community, it's an amazing community. Just go to Facebook and search Real WW Talk. You do have to request to be in and answer a few questions. Make sure you answer all of the questions so we can let you in so we know you're a real person and not a fake person.
Yes, we get a lot of them. I'm telling you, it's crazy. We protect you all from a lot. You just don't know it.
Yeah. But Shar said this week's episode was brilliant, ladies. And she was talking about an episode, I believe, from October, where we're talking about the GLP program and how the app can show you you can switch over to it kind of easily and see the different, I don't want macros in a way, those macronutrients, and you can easily slide back to seeing points. So cool. So that's what she was talking about. She said, please, nobody tell WW about the trick of switching to the GLP program in the app. Who needs to wait for a test rollout to select a few members of macros when this is sitting in plain sight? Not me. I'm not waiting. I switched. Chime the angel wings. This is a brilliant trick. Love it. If anyone tells and suddenly WW asks for a copy of a prescription, I don't wish ill of anyone or don't try to anyhow, but may your points be small and appetite. I think it got cut off there, but you get the point. Shar, it has a great sense of humor.
Basically, don't tell Weight Watchers that this is an option.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's okay if they know because they're not changing it because of it. There were a lot of coaches who I think responded and said,
oh, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for your lightheartedness in the group. But I think Shar is also a little serious about that.
Yeah. And we're just so happy to hear that so many of you all loved it because we were so excited. I wasn't on the episode when Erin and Rikki announced it, but they had sent me a text and they were like, Candice, get on it. And it's just so nice to have a new interface and to be able to kind of, sometimes that little switch puts you in a different mindset. So, and to focus on protein, and to see how much I'm lacking sometimes is really an eye opener. So we're glad you all are enjoying it. And look, like I said, we don't work for Weight Watchers. Don't ever forget that.
Right.
We are not employed by Weight Watchers. We are members just like you. So whatever we find out, it'll be our little secret, even though we have coaches and stuff who are in our group and who will out us. But Weight Watchers knows about this. I think they're okay with it. And I don't think it's going anywhere. I think anytime soon, but don't quote me. So we should be okay.
We'll see. Hopefully it sticks around.
Yeah. Well, Rikki, how was your week? I know that it's been, we kind of jumped into some of the fan or listener letters and things.
Mhm.
How did your week go?
It's been a good week, as the routines have changed, as the weather's gotten colder, as life has gotten busier. I've still been able to just maintain some wins of, the consistent tracking and still doing my factor meals.
Good.
Just taking that frustration of having to figure out, what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to meal prep. I don't want to have leftovers, all of that out of the equation, and it still makes my life simple. So. At least in that area.
Good, good, good.
So, yeah, I've been enjoying that consistency, and even though I'm not outside walking like I was in the beginning of the fall, it's been nice to have the activity indoors, and I've been increasing that as well, so it's been
Yeah,
good. How about
wonderful.
you?
I've been really focused on what we talked about a few weeks ago. I mean, I can't remember when. The episodes are all blending together at this point, but I've been decluttering slowly my house
Okay.
and not with any like goal of when it has to be done, just really focusing on that 5 to 10 minutes a day
Mm,
of decluttering and it has slowly made a world of difference. Like I'm starting to be able to see spaces I couldn't see before. Um, and I don't know, I feel like it makes my family a little happier. Like
yeah.
it could be all a facade and I'm just seeing it because I think it, but like when you walk into a room and you see your
Mhm.
husband go, oh, okay, that's where that is. Um, I don't know. It's my little win. It's my little kind
Yeah,
of, and I'm trying to use that as my reinforcement instead of food or something. Like
yeah.
my thing is, congratulations, you've done 10 minutes. Look at how you're blessing your family.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's been making my mindset a lot happier during
Yeah.
the time to just make my space just a tiny bit more beautiful by
Yeah, and that's
less
double
clutter.
dipping too, because I mean, whether or not you're hosting for the holidays, you're gonna have more stuff in the house,
Yeah.
Christmas presents and, all kinds of things. So you're making space for those
Yeah.
holiday things that are gonna be there and helping yourself. You're helping your future self, really.
I feel like I'm cherishing things more, like, because people,
Wow.
you can become so cluttered and you
Mhm.
don't, it's like you're not honoring the things that you have that at some point you thought was important to have or to keep in your house. And then you forget about it and you look and you're like, I didn't even remember that this was here. Like, this is really great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Okay.
hoping to keep up that practice and not to make it like it's not a resolution. It's not a goal. It's just a thing that I'm doing every day, 10 minutes.
I love
10
that.
minutes of decluttering a day. And then I do it,
Yeah.
set a timer on my Apple Watch, and I'm sure you on your Garmin or whatever your fancy watch is. I'm still back in the olden days with my Apple Watch and not even the newest generation. But I literally set a
Okay.
timer 10 minutes and then I just declutter. And when it goes off, the most important thing is that when the timer goes off, I stop.
Mm.
I don't like, oh, nope, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then tomorrow's another day.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're in that season where we tend to reconnect with different people, find those friends we haven't seen in a while and say, "Hey, let's grab coffee. I've got some time off work," or we're meeting up with family we haven't seen in a while. So for you, have you been able to identify what people in your life, whether it be those close friends or people you've met in other settings, what people in your life are the most helpful, and what people in your life are more hurtful as we go through this journey, especially this time of year?
Yeah, because unfortunately, I feel like each year it's the same people because people's personalities tend to. I mean, I hope people have personal growth and go on self goals
Mm,
for personal growth and abundance. But ironically, I feel that more people in my life tend to stay the same. So the people who triggered
mm,
me before are the ones who triggered me last year.
yeah.
So I think that because your question was, do I find that there are people?
Yeah, well, what people are they? Like,
Yeah.
what types of people or what things that people do maybe
Yeah.
are
For me,
helpful and
you
yeah,
kind of brought up the family gatherings that are going to be happening soon because I am the one who's going to be hosting. And
okay.
um, I tend to have a lot of family members who
Mhm.
feel that maybe because they're family, they have the ability to be a little more vocal about their thoughts and opinions
Mm.
on things that can make it really, especially I feel when it's weight or food. I don't
Mhm.
know why those topics people feel like they have free reign.
Yeah.
Especially in the world, like, you feel like with Oprah having had, like, this whole, like, discussion and specials on things that people would be quiet, but I get the most opinionated people during the holidays,
Mm.
and it's really hard because it then makes me want to kind of go inward. I have gotten a lot better at advocating for myself,
Mhm.
and, like, we talked about that about establishing those boundaries of, like, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm not, but
Mm.
I've had a lot of, and it's been hard, a lot of weight fluctuations that have been sometimes tied to some of the drugs that I'm taking,
Mm.
and it's hard when you feel that people, don't understand, um, what might be going on in the background, but still have the desire to offer their voice,
Mm.
about it. So, I am aware of the people, and I've had to put up some boundaries, like we talked about before. 'Cause for
Mm.
me, it's usually family that
Okay.
kind of takes us, because I found that friends sometimes, it's just those who get real familiar and feel like they know you, and know
Mhm.
everything that's about you. But yeah, what about
Mm.
you?
I think, I think it's always well-meaning people, and I don't have one person in particular in mind, but I think people who were like, "Oh, it's just one meal," or "It's just one thing," or "It's just one," just have the kind of food pushery people. And again, it's not like one person in particular. I feel like we've all had those moments where it's been like, "Hey, I really want this taco. Oh, yeah, I want tacos too. Let's go get tacos."
Mhm,
And not to say that's always a bad thing, but I feel like it is a little more challenging when you have friends or people that you've, determined are your accountability people. And it's like, well, at what point does your accountability person tell you, hey, you know, let's
mhm.
get real? Or at what point are they like, you know what, just go enjoy it? I think it's okay
Yeah,
for those people to tell you, "Hey, enjoy yourself."
yeah,
But I think there are sometimes if you realize there's a pattern of your accountability person always being like, "Enjoy yourself,"
mhm.
where are they still an accountability person?
You
So,
know who I'm most triggered by right now? And
mhm.
I don't know how else to say it, but the know-it-alls.
Yeah.
I've had encountered a lot. You find people who have had success in certain areas of their life, and
Mhm.
good for them, but it's like, I don't know if you found this, when people are
Yeah.
really, really doing well, they can
Mhm.
get a bit know-it-all and a
Mhm.
bit factual about what everybody else should be doing.
Mhm.
Whether that be a new diet that they've tried and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you have to do it this way, and it's only this way, and I am telling you, like, this is," and you're happy for them,
Yeah.
but for me, it can be, hard
Mhm.
because, as we know, everybody's different,
Yeah.
and everybody has different things that are going on with their lives, and it's excuse me, it's not just with food, but, like, also with, like, life choices.
Mhm.
"Oh, well, you definitely have to do this, and you have to do this, and I've
Mm.
heard that this is this." I've had to really kind of, be careful with those type of people because it makes me
Yeah.
wanna they can be triggering to me to make me want to do the opposite of whatever they're saying, even if it's something that could be beneficial. Does that
Mhm.
make sense? So, like, if they
Yeah.
say, "Oh my gosh, it's so great to drink so much water." Oh my gosh, I've been drinking so much water all year, and because of the water that I drink, I am glowing, and everyone should do
Mhm.
what I do. I'm like, "I'm not drinking any, I want soda."
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I want? A good old non-diet Coca-Cola with all the sugar, and I'm just hurting
Mhm.
myself, but it's like a defiance that's brought up with know-it-alls.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's
No.
the desire that they have. It's just it comes across, and I think that when you get an audience, when you're so proud,
Right.
kind of, I don't know why that's so off-putting.
Well, I feel. Tell me if you have observed this too, but and again, I think it speaks to more what I can change in the scenario is less time on
Mhm.
social media.
Yeah.
But I have found that I've been really triggered by people who are, like, very clearly, like, they're up here, they've got a million plus followers,
Sure.
and they get there by doing certain things and signing certain endorsements, and that kind of promotes them even more. But when I will just be scrolling through my feed, and then I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I like this person. Let me see what they have to say. They're talking about their day. I like those, come along with me for my day. And then next thing I know, I'm like, "Is this an ad?" Because they're holding the same drink. And then I'll
Yeah.
scroll down and I'll see it's like a sponsored ad, and I'm like, that the amount of times this has come up in my feed lately has been atrocious. It's like I
Mhm.
don't feel like anything's authentic anymore. So how can I trust anything that's on? And I hate to keep bringing it back to that because I feel like it does relate to our journey with food. Like we're listening to so many different voices.
Mhm.
And if I choose to listen to those voices and I don't know where they're coming from or why they're telling me this thing works, and again, maybe it does truly work for them, but
Mhm.
guess what? They're not me.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think it comes back to like, I need to be listening to the people in my life who are similar, who have similar journeys, and who have advice for me that doesn't necessarily come from,
Yeah.
oh, I know, like you said, the know-it-alls, like I know best and everything that works for me is going to work for you.
Because I think that there's a level of authenticity, like you're saying, that's lacking. It's just like I
Yeah.
don't know if I can trust that what you're saying isn't being muddied by money you're getting paid to tell me that,
Mhm.
or like I said, just the fact that we're different. I don't think there's enough consideration for the fact that there's individuality amongst us.
Right.
Not everybody has the same goals. Not everybody has the same health conditions. Not everybody has the same life. Not everybody has the same likes or dislikes.
Mhm.
And I think that we tend to want to group all of us together, as a way to have a shared experience.
Mhm.
And that's what I kind of push against. So
Mhm.
I've always said that though. Like even when I'm like as somebody who enjoys the Weight Watchers plan for the thing that it gives me with the flexibility and
Mhm.
being able, I can understand when people say I absolutely will never count a point. I hate it. I hate that idea. Like I only
Right.
want to eat chicken. And
Mhm.
that's all I just want to eat low carb because that's what I love. Cool. Like,
Mhm.
but if you tell me that that's what I have to do,
Mhm.
that's where again it's problematic. And I feel like we've talked about this a couple times throughout the year, because there's a really Weight Watchers has had to, in order to survive, embrace that there's different ways that people lose weight. Some of it may be through medication, maybe through counting points, maybe through doing the diabetic plan. I know that they have introduced that they're, and I think it's pretty much rolled out for everybody with the macros, just
Mm.
because I saw it in my thing, where you can at least see, because I feel
Yeah.
like my Fitness Pal and other things had, some people were double tracking,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's because points isn't enough for everybody,
Mhm.
but for some people it is. I know we have a friend that a mutual friend who was saying that she was really against them adding the macros.
Mhm.
She's like, I like Weight Watchers because I already know the points. Like you all did all the hard work. Why do I need to like know all that other information? It's overwhelming. But see, that's
Yeah.
my whole point.
Yeah.
So trying to tell her that this is the way that you need to do it wouldn't work for her.
Yeah, exactly.
And so having to tune that out and not let it dictate how you react is
Mhm.
what I would say is hard when we're
Yeah.
dealing with people, because
Yeah.
no matter how well intentioned, I know my personality is one that can be a bit pushback
Mhm.
um, against things that still may be for my good. Like
Yeah.
so I just wanted to bring that up because I think that she was a great example of not one thing working for everybody and not everyone
Mhm.
being as excited. We've dealt that with the plan too. Not everyone's excited about every thing
No.
that people do in Weight Watchers.
Yeah. Change is hard. I mean, I think it's hard for anybody. So when you're told that something that you've gotten used to is going to be different, like it's hard for anyone. But I
Yeah.
think that's something that makes us more resilient and makes us a little bit better at adapting.
Mhm.
Because the one thing that we know is that things are going to change in every area of our lives,
Mhm.
in one way or another. Like relationships change, and not and change isn't always bad, but like dynamics change, or like aspects of our jobs might change.
But
We
how
have
do you deal with the people who have opinions
right.
about how it changes? And I was
Mhm.
curious about that for even you, like if it were to be that somebody's pushing on you because they've entered a new stage of their life. We've done,
Mhm.
they've entered a new stage, so they're really excited, and then they want to
Yeah.
tell you everything that you need to do, and you're like, yeah, or not,
Mhm.
because I don't know if that change. It's not me being against change. It just might not be something that's appropriate or relatable for me in this stage of my life.
Mhm.
Not everybody has to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I think that can be hard. I think I'm better at it now, but I
Mhm.
know that I have typically with my close friends, they very sometimes unintentionally are like, "Oh, well, I met my fiance at Chipotle, so
Yes.
now I'm, you know, I'm hitting up every Chipotle." Like,
Yes.
which
Hey, where is he? Yes.
but I mean, I think that's something I've grown in. I'm not necessarily listening to everything everyone says and saying, even if they tell me, "Oh, you should really look for your, future husband at Chipotle," or if you should really try GLP-1s.
Mhm.
Even if someone's not directly saying that, I think it's easy to hear someone saying, "I tried this and it helped me with XYZ."
Yeah.
And he say, "Maybe I should try it." Like,
Mhm.
again, even if that friend or that person isn't trying to convince you, I think our brains by nature are always seeking information and seeking, the next thing that's going to help and what can help me in the easiest way, the quickest way.
Yeah.
Some people it's liposuction instead of toning. Or it's, just things that make our lives easier. But I
Yeah.
think what I've realized is that the easy way for one person may be an easy way for me. It doesn't mean it's sustainable. It doesn't mean it's the thing that really is going to help me maintain whatever weight loss I'm looking for.
Because I feel like what we're really saying too is embracing the uniqueness of our journeys
Mhm.
and the fact that we are highly individualized and for a variety of different reasons. And that's why
Mhm.
we need to be careful about trying to make it a, one size fits all kind of experience because
Mhm.
it can do more damage
Mhm.
and people are vulnerable around topics, whether it be weight, whether it be or how you lose weight or what you're supposed to eat or who you're supposed to date or how you're supposed to find them. Like you're just like, I mean, I would never tell anybody to do it the way that I did it because I don't even know how to make it, how to replicate it. Like I mean, I said online, but online worked for me. Somebody else says they went online and they found the worst people ever. I
Mhm.
found my husband on OkCupid. That's always the joke, right? And we answered every single question that was ever created on the app to get like a 90. At this back in the day, they used to give you scores and they were like, you all are a 98% match. And
Uh-huh.
but I say that because now OkCupid doesn't even look the same. So if I were to tell
Mm.
you to try to find a spouse that way, you may look and say,
Mhm.
Candice, they don't even do that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
why are you trying that? My dad, I always joke because when he finds something that works well for him, like he's always been the low carb person. Like
Mhm.
because he had tried calorie counting for a while and hated it, saw
Mhm.
that low carb gave him really quick results, and he can't help but tell everybody that that like low carb is the way to go. So when he met
Mhm.
somebody who was like, "Well, I don't like I don't like meat, I don't eat meat, and I tend to really lose weight eating a lot of grains." He's like, "No, he can't accept that there would be a way that somebody could stay thin other than the way that he did it."
Mhm.
And not because he's like some dictator. It's just he was looking for a shared experience with the way that he thought it should be.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
we have a lot of that, especially in our older generation. Not that my dad's like that old, but they just are very, they're just they want to help and
Yes.
they know the way that they know that it has to happen.
Mhm. So then if you have that interaction, how do you respond to that?
Thank
How
you.
do you
I had to
thank you?
that really took a lot of time because I used to get combative, but I was like,
Mhm.
thank you, because I know for him that's really important.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, I definitely know that low carb works for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And that tends to be
Mm.
where I leave it. Like, I know that that works for a lot of people. So it looks like it's working really well for you. Yeah, because you need to do this. Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
Because I am choosing the relationship over like like going
Right.
back and forth. I think in the past I used to be a little bit more like, well, first of all, not everybody needs to do rah, 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 rah,
Right.
instead of saying it's just not something that's right for me, or it is
Mhm.
right, and really being willing to challenge my thoughts and say, is something he's saying something I want to adopt?
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'll think about it. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think sometimes why we have that reaction is because it's defensiveness, because we didn't bring up the topic, they did. And I think that's the biggest thing too, is that we have to learn that regardless of their intention, whether they did intend to harm or not, which a lot of times they're not intending, I don't have to take that offense. I don't have to say, I'm going to be offended by this because this person thinks I need to lose weight. And we were talking about, playing
Mhm.
frisbee, and they started telling me about how I can lose weight.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they did, it's very easy to be offended by things people say,
Mhm.
but it's so much more of a like release and so much more peaceful to say, like you said, to say thank you. I appreciate that you said that, and it doesn't have to be the most polite either, especially if it's depending, like you said, depending on the relationship. If it's your dad, you
Yeah.
might be responding in a different way than if it's a stranger. It's like, well, okay, you told me that. I'm glad you told me, or, I'm gonna be on my way. I have somewhere to be.
I had to go from a place of, because I think I've always kind of erred on assuming the worst of what people were trying to
Mm,
give as a suggestion instead of assuming the best. So after
mm,
I've made that shift, and I don't do it perfectly, but going, I'm going to assume that the reason why he shared that was from a place of wanting to help and not hurt. And
mhm,
so that's why I choose to say, okay, thank you. Appreciate
yeah,
that. Or, that's good to know. Yeah, I'm sure it works for a lot of people. Because you
mhm,
can tell the way that people continue to push. Now, at some point, I get weary. I got it. Really glad you like low carb. Really happy for you.
right.
Probably not doing it, or probably am doing it, whatever
Mhm,
it is. But there's that boundary still of,
mhm.
if they were to continue to push, but assuming good intent just feels better
Yeah.
until they give you a reason to feel that there is some negative reason,
Mhm.
you know?
And there's also other reasons, like maybe they just haven't talked to anyone that day and they just want to be heard. They're making conversation.
Or maybe they're just really proud of themselves. Like, I'm
Yeah.
finding that
Yeah.
ironically is a lot. And I get it, because when you are proud of yourself or you've made changes that you're proud of, you want to share. You
Mhm.
want the world to know. You just do. That's when you see people. You can always tell when people are doing well. They want to post, hey, it's a kind of a way of touching if they like their nails. There's a way that
Mhm.
people act when they're proud of something.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's a way also that if you're the one receiving it, that you can try not to take it personally if they also
Mhm.
add in stuff, because when you get a little preachy proud,
Mhm.
it can be hurtful to a person who may not be there, or
Exactly.
may be in a place that's vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those words that we say are just so important. So I think the
Yeah.
biggest takeaway that we can have is just like for us, being people on this weight loss journey,
Yeah.
not being
One size doesn't fit
preachy.
all.
Yeah. And, if
Be
someone has
kind.
questions, share the
Yeah.
knowledge you've learned, but
Yeah.
this may not be the plan for everyone.
And what works for you may not work for me, and that's okay. We
Mhm.
don't even like the same things, and we're not supposed to. Like, I mean, like, because
Yeah,
we're individuals. So,
exactly.
and I think that you have to embrace your individuality and allow people to be different from you,
Mhm.
and don't take offense if somebody tells you they don't want to do what you are doing.
Mhm.
Because that's another thing. If you're the one who's preaching a little bit, and you find that
Mhm.
people are not responding the way that you like, it could be that just for them, it's not the solution that they want.
Yeah, and that's okay.
That's okay. It's not like, oh, you're not doing anything wrong. They just aren't interested.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is great. I always love kind of having chats. So again, if you all want to know again how Real WW Talk started, these random conversations happened in the parking lot after a Weight
Yeah.
Watchers meeting, where we're just again pondering the meaning of life, the meaning of weight loss, and the meaning of why we are the way that we are. But I
Mhm.
would not want to do it with anyone else other than you and Erin,
I
because
know.
Lord, we've been talking and have not shut up for like 4 years.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
telling
hard
you.
to believe.
Yes,
It's just yeah, when you're chatting with good friends, time just flies.
flies already. Can you believe it? It's already been 30 minutes. So
Yeah, there you go.
if you're walking, go ahead and turn home. You should be home. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we are just so grateful for this community. There's so many different ways that you can connect with us. We know we've got our email, which we shared earlier, but just send us an email. Shout out to us. Candice, you want to share the other ways that we can get
Sure.
connected?
We made it so easy. Real WW Talk everywhere. Go to Instagram, look for Real WW Talk. Go to Facebook, put in Real WW Talk. Answer a few questions, because it is a private group. You're welcome. There are plenty of public ones that are filled with bots, but we are private. Answer a few questions and we will let you in. You can find us on Connect. Our Connect handles are in the show notes. We are getting better at posting on Connect. That's another thing. It's hard. just because we mean to and then we don't. But connect, and you have our Gmail account, realwwtalk@gmail.com. We also would love for you to listen to the podcast like most of you all are. You can leave us fan mail. The link is there. We cannot respond. We said that earlier in the link. And if you would like to buy us a cup of coffee, as we say, because this podcast doesn't produce itself. We've tried to give you an episode every single week that we can. And you all supporting us, it means the world, because we've been able to stay on air because of you, honestly. We're so grateful for each and every one of you all who have signed up to be supporters of the show. And if you would like to do so, we are ever so grateful. You can find the link to do that in the show notes, which is the description box right under the wherever you're watching, whether that be on the podcast or on YouTube. So thank you all so much.
All right. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.